let's see. There we go. Where do we leave off? We started the next case, and it's some kind of jury simulation case, although it's still a real murder case. Supposedly, Vera murdered her father, poisoning her coffee. Something like that. Well, let's figure out what the hell is going on. Let's see, load. And it should be this one. Yeah, it should be that one. Alright, I think we have finished doing all we can here. She won't let us scan this painting. For whatever reason. No, I'm not drinking coffee right now. I try not to drink coffee on school nights because, then I'll be up all night and then asleep when the kids have to go to school, and, I had to make sure my son goes to school by myself because my husband has to go back to sleep as soon as my daughter is gone, so. If I'm not awake for that, nobody goes to school. Let's see. Let me present some things to her again, just in case. We already did the letter. Emma, I was wondering if you'd take a look at this. Look, I'm a detective. A detective. You can't just ask me any old thing and expect an answer, okay? I think you need to be a little more focused on your inquiries. Scientific, even. Somehow I knew she'd get around to science. What was this? Oh, what? I can't even read that. Top dollar for information. I guess that's what it says. Isn't that what Trucy said you should do with a business card? But hey Shot, how are you doing? Hello Ren Puma. I'm sorry you're tired. You're almost done. I guess you gotta have a good business card if you work freelance. Really, what's this? A camera lens finder? Do reporters take photos too? I guess if he's freelance, he'd have to. Maybe you should try being a prosecutor and a defense attorney. You'd always win! Why don't I become a rock star too while I'm at it? His name is Spark Brushel. Yeah, she's gonna say something. We've looked at the thingy, Kerjigger. I think she's gonna say the same thing about it, but yeah. This is the third painting he was working on. Hey, they're the same. I was hoping you wouldn't find that he was copying this painting. Copying the painting? What for? And it still doesn't let me scan it? Alright, I guess... I don't think... Well? I don't know if she'd let us look at this envelope. No. Well, I guess let's go to the Coliseum. October 7th, Sunshine Coliseum. Oh, that's a couple days away from now. It's 4 days. Woohoo! This is it, Apollo! The place where magic and dreams converge. We've been here before. Just a while ago, it was the place where murder and nightmares converged. Let's go say hi to Uncle Valent. What about the case? only a performer laughs like that. The young Miss Trucy! How often have I hoped we'd meet again, only to tell myself it was an impossible dream. Teehee! Uncle Valent, how's it going? I'm glad to see you too. Of course you are! Humility is definitely not one of his stronger traits. Well, Miss Trucy, how does the day find you? If you've come to give me flowers, do it after the show, I beg you. Actually, we came to wish you good luck. And congratulations on your big magic show. Oh, but it is I who wish to congratulate you! Not everyone is so lucky as to witness miracles such as I shall perform. Yeah, you're amazing. We get the picture. You're okay other than the feeling that the world is going down the tubes. After a bunch of terror. Yeah. I try to ignore those things. The world will watch in wonderment as magnifies or magnifies? Magnifi! I'm gonna say magnifies. Illusions are reborn here on stage by my hand. Alright. Now we get to see that the blue badger's still here. Some things have changed in the background, but I don't think there's a huge difference. Maybe a magic show will make everything better. Maybe. Hey, that creature there. He was handing out balloons during our last case, too. He's not a creature, Apollo. Poor guy. Oh, sorry. Was I mean somehow? You know how hot it is inside one of those suits? Yes. He's stuck in there with only the smell of his own sweat to keep him company. On the verge of passing out, he hands out each balloon as though it were his last. Kinda takes the fun out of seeing the blue badger. Luckily, when I was the Easter Bunny, I didn't have to be outside. I was inside, but it was still hot as hell. Look, Apollo! A balloon! A hot air balloon! With the Gramarye seal on it, no less. Well, this is a long-awaited revival after all, and it's been 7 years, you know. I've spent plenty of time and a pretty penny on promotion. I hope it's a huge success, Uncle Valent. Oh, I intend for it to be nothing less, I assure you! They both sure seem excited about it. I guess it's a big deal for magicians. They've changed the sign since our last case. When I was 15 or 16, I didn't have a job, and the guy I was dating at the time worked at the country club in our town, and he got me this side job as being the Easter Bunny at the country club, and it was $50. It was not worth $50. I should have asked for like $500. And it was the most awkward time of my life. All these middle-aged women thought I was a man in the suit, so I couldn't talk. They told me I wasn't allowed to talk. So I had to sit here and listen to these women like whisper things into my suit. They changed the sign since our last case. It was all Gaviners back then, wasn't it? Hey, Double Escapement, how are you doing? When was I the Easter Bunny? I was maybe 15 or 16 years old. I needed a job. And that was my job. I was the Easter Bunny. It was only for a day. I guess it's about 15 years ago. Let's see, it was all Gaviners back then, wasn't it? I hope nothing bizarre and mysterious happens this time. But it shall! Why, the show itself will be bizarre and mysterious, I assure you. I don't have a problem with mystery as long as it's legal. I don't think lawyers and magicians were really meant to have conversations like this. Puddles of sweat. Yes, I was sweating so bad. Every once in a while, like every hour or two, they would let me go into the kitchen and like sit in the refrigerator. It was so hot. I was so glad I wasn't outside. I would have died. And I'm not gonna tell you what people were saying to me. And there's this little girl, like, I had a basket full of candy and everything. I was giving candy to little kids, and or they were eggs full of candy, and kids with baskets, I could give them eggs. There was just one little girl that kept giving me my egg back, and I was like, no! Take the damn egg, you little girl! It was at the country club, yeah, a restaurant. The restaurant portion of at the country club in Kingwood, where I used to live. Let's see. I think that's really everything worth looking at. Okay, the Big Magic Show. Everyone's talking about the Big Magic Show. Is it true that the Gramarye Miracle is back after a 7-year absence? Miss Trucy, I must apologize. This show and this honor should have been his. Daddy. My co-magician in training, Zach Gramarye. If that terrible thing hadn't... It's okay. Your father was a great magician, Trucy. If he were alive, then I, Valant Gramarye, would have been proud to stand upon the stage as his assistant. If you could draw, you'd be pretty embarrassed tomorrow? What? Okay. Oh, I would be embarrassed. Why? You would draw me as an Easter bunny giving eggs to kids? What's embarrassing about that? You know, I'm happy you're doing the show. To think we get to see the great Magnify's illusions again. She really is looking forward to this, isn't she? Magnify Gramarye. My mentor, the magnificent Magnify Gramarye, was a true deity among magicians. A creator god who gave birth to magic and illusions that defied our very imaginations. I was so little when I last saw one, but I still remember his shows. He did wheelies in a sports car through the air above the audience, and then sped off to outer space faster than the speed of sound. I'm guessing that memory was a bit embellished. For 7 long years, the world has been waiting for a miracle to match his. As heir to the Gramarye Troupe's secrets, it falls to me to provide one. It is my God-given destiny. Yes! You, nameless face who speaks for the nameless masses, how can I help you? If the world was waiting, why did you hold off for 7 long years? It appears the lad is uninformed. Perhaps you have heard of the magic known as law, which governs our land. I have, though I'm not sure it qualifies as magic. The performance of Magnify's miracle was impossible. A certain law prevented it for 7 years, but no more. 7 years. The phrase sure likes to pop up, doesn't it? And why was that? A little matter called performance rights, Miss Trucy. Performance rights. Can you tell us about these performance rights? Magnify's magic relied on an incredibly innovative idea, a trick, if you will. That trick was considered his property, and as such was protected by property laws. Intellectual property, maybe? Magnify knew this and bequeathed it in his will. To one person. You mean him? Yes. Miss Trucy, it was your father. Zach Gramarye was the inheritor of the Gramarye Miracle. Daddy. Yet, as you well know, he is gone. He disappeared suddenly 7 years ago. I think I see where this story is going. You don't like the name Trucy? Trucy doll. What's wrong with Trucy? My name is Trucy. No, I'm just kidding. My name's not Trucy. I think I see where the story is going. Once a person is classified as missing for a certain period of time, they're considered legally deceased, correct? In all absoluteness, those rolled-up sleeves conceal your competence well, young man. That certain period of time of which you speak is 7 years. Ah! Yes, Miss Trucy, though it pains me to say it, this past spring, April to be precise, was the time. Your father was legally declared deceased. In the absence of a formal will, the secrets of our mighty mentor Magnify passed to me. This was in fact stipulated in the will by Magnify himself. Is that how it works, Apollo? Yeah, it's called death in absentia. He's declared missing permanently. Daddy. So I guess her dad's not dead, he's just missing. I thought she said he was dead. Alright. I guess that was all we could talk to him about. Wait. Weren't we supposed to meet somebody here? You know, I thought this at the time of the governor's concert too, but this Coliseum is just way too big. It's huge. It's got a big sounding name too. Sunshine Coliseum, was it? Ah! Would you like to hear what the grand finale of the show in 3 days will be? What? Really? Yeah! The grand finale will be nothing other than... Don't tell me you're going to make the Coliseum disappear, right? Ah! Oh. Oops. Looks like I was right. Apollo! I can't believe you'd use your power of perception on something like this. It was just a wild guess, really. Wow. Apollo's an asshole. Alright, let's show things. What is this? Ah, ha ha ha! A challenge, is it? You want me to make that disappear? Very well, give it to me! Ah, no. Thanks. Are all magicians like this? Apollo, what was that look just now? I was just thinking how hard it is to get any information out of a magician. So, a journalist was here on a story. All eyes in the universe are upon my stage. All pens seek to commit its mysteries to paper. His name was Brushel. I think he remembers him. He doesn't look too happy about it. Brushel. That cloying smell of mint when he smiles, yes. Could you tell us more about him? What did he want? This music. Okay. Tell us about Mr. Brushel. A man by that name called on me just now. Just now? Balanced vision is always toward tomorrow. Balanced feet step always forward. That is all. That's all? That's all very confusing. I am to perform a big magic show, yes? I wanted someone to cover it. Yet, he had ears only for that incident. That incident? In any case, I requested that the rapacious reporter remove himself. So a painter has died. What of it? It is but a footnote in the footlights compared to the magic of Gramarye. Uncle Valent, do you know where the reporter went? I recommended he visit that place popular with penalized perpetrators. The detention center? He was a rude individual. Might I see that card? Sure. He would tear apart my respectability. I will tear apart him. Oh, here it comes, Apollo. Uncle Valent's big magic trick. Is he going to fix the card? Not sure that qualifies as big magic. What happened to the big magic? Is it not more miraculous for it to stay ripped? He must have really not liked that journalist. Oh, hey Flixie. How are you? Let's see. So let's go somewhere else. I guess you have to go to the detention center. Yeah, I stream every night except for Fridays and Saturdays. Oh. Thanks for the follow, by the way. I really appreciate it. It feels good. Yeah, detention center. Totally forgot where I was going. October 7th, detention center, visitor's room. Ah, you're here to see Vera Misham? Misham? Yes, that's right. She's in the medical office at the moment. Medical office? Is she okay? She's just lying down. Said she didn't feel so good. I'm sorry, but I can't allow any meetings at the moment. Most annoying client ever. Guess we should come back. I thought we were here to talk to Brushel. Why did I come here? What? Isn't that where they said we should go? Okay. Do you know where Brushel went? No. Does Phoenix Wright know where he went? No. Oh, I don't have the card anymore, even if it's ripped up. He totally destroyed my card. I must be missing something at the studio then. Let me go back to the Coliseum real quick. I don't think I finished showing you my evidence. Yeah, okay, that's all I had to say about Mr. Brushel. Do you know anything about this? Ah ha 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 ha. Challenges it? Oh, we have to wait for the laugh box. Let me click through it! Tell me about this. I was wondering if you could tell me about this? Haha! Why, that bears the Gramarye seal! Uncle Valent? Is something wrong? Trucy! Where did you get this? Huh? Daddy gave it to me. Your daddy? No, my other daddy, Phoenix Wright! Why now? Why would your Lord Daddy... What? Lord Daddy? That's kind of stretching the whole archaic thing a bit. The signature upon the back. Do you recognize it? That belongs to none other than Zach Gramarye. What? Daddy signed this? Might I be so bold as to open it? I'm sorry, but I can't let you do that. What's in this envelope, I wonder? Now, the time has come when I must return to make my prestidigitate. What? Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation. Maybe it's a soft G sound. Prestidigitation. Preparations. What? Is that even a real word? By your leave, Miss Trucy. Thanks, Uncle Valent. 3 days from now, make ready for a miracle. Goodbye. What do you think that journalist was after? And why did Valent react like that to this envelope? I think it's time to pay the detention center another visit. We were just there! Okay. First, I want to ask Emma about the envelope. Envelope, I say it both ways. Well, you said no more names you can't pronounce. You said nothing about the words. No more words that I can't pronounce. Gosh. Could you take a look at this? Look at this! Alright, now let's go to the detention center. October 7th, detention center visitors room. I think I hear what you're saying. We're all doing it for the money, end quote. No, not at all. Looks like someone's already meeting here. Maybe that reporter? Ugh! Ugh! Don't look at me. Ah! Hey there, how you doing? Who might you be? Sorry, we didn't know someone was already here. Ugh. Ah! I'm Apollo Justice, attorney at law. Talk about a nervous monkey. Ugh. Oh, this is music from the first game. You? You're Justice. You? You know me? Do I know you? Of course I know you. Stares down witnesses on the stand till they spill the beans. End quote. That's not true. What's he writing? Are you a reporter by any chance? Woo, you're Trucy! You got the magic panties, girl! Am I famous? Oh yeah! Trucy Wright hates carrying a bag. Puts everything she owns in her panties! End quote. Eek! That's so not true! Just hold on to your britches there. I'll wrap up this interview in a jiffy. Interview? So, guard, I think I know what's going on here. Guarding rooms is my life. What else could I possibly need? End quote. No? How many times would I tell you this? Look, I've got work to do. You deal with him. Did you come here to interview the guard? Oh, what a pickle. Accused wouldn't talk. Had to interview someone or go plumb crazy. End quote. Huh? Oh, she's there. I should have guessed. Where are my manners? Name's Brushel, Spark Brushel. I'm not picky, journalist. I'm not picky, journalist just closes eyes. Writes. End quote. What's that nauseatingly strong mint smell every time he grins? Until you've been interviewed by me, you don't know what thrilling is. Wild romp through crossroads of mayhem madness. End quote. I can see that. He's writing something again. Well, if he's a reporter, maybe he knows something. See, she does too. I personally saw her take out an entire man-sized That doesn't come from her panties! That's like something she hides under her cloak or something. So, Mr. Brushel, you're a journalist? Ah, me? Look, let me say one thing for the record here. Yes? I'm the interviewer, you understand? You understand, yeah? I'm the one asking the questions here. End quote. Okay. For instance, you think a movie director watches movies? Well, I think he probably does. Exactly! I knew you'd understand. Huh? Okay. Night of the crime. So the night of the murder, you were at Drew's studio? Who, me? Look, let me say one thing for the record. Yes? I may look calm and collected, but I'm busy. Real busy. Always on the road. Journalist always buys one-way tickets, never looks back. End quote. I can understand that philosophy, but you want to know the thing about one-way tickets? Once you use them, they're gone. All because you have to give them to the guy at the airport. True enough. But don't they give normal tickets away too? Exactly. See, it's the same thing. What is? The interview. So, you went to do a story on Drew Mission, and he never had a story done about him before? That's right! Look, let me say one thing for the record here. What? I'm sure you're going to want to know about my source. What tipped me off to Drew? Why do the interview in the first place? Well, yes. Look, it's like... Oh! I've got it! Say, there's this burger joint with fabulous ketchup. You think the burger guy's going to tell me where he got it? At the supermarket, maybe. Exactly! See? That's what I'm talking about. I think I may have actually understood that one. Well, there's nothing I can talk about, really. Walls have ears, eyes, especially glass walls with speakers, end quote. What? Right, guess we'll leave then. Ah, but since you're here, might as well tell you a tidbit of news I saw, just for the heck of it. Sure, tell us, just for the heck of it. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'd seen a movie on a trip and wandered into this burger place with amazing ketchup when an article in a tabloid caught my eye. Famous oil painting stolen from art dealer's gallery, in quotes, I believe it was. An oil painting. Happens every day, right? But I thought I'd seen that painting somewhere before. A painting of a giant peach floating down a river. Ooh, that nose. Someone stole an oil painting of a giant peach? Journalists can smell scoop better than burgers, end quote. Would it happen to be this painting? Ah, right. Let me get the record here. Yes? I know what you're going to say. Brushel, take this. Write brilliant column, end quote. I don't think so. Look, buddy, I write brilliant columns about one thing, and that's food. Try to understand. What could he possibly be writing? He didn't listen to a word I said. What about this one, then? Oh, let me go on the record as well. Ugh! Can't stand looking at this guy. I guess we should talk to Emma about the stolen painting then. Are you going to the oh, and we didn't show him the most important thing. Oh, okay. He had nothing to say about the most important thing. Blarg, blarg, blarg. Hello, Vintar X. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good evening. Blarg, 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 blarg. You good? Good. That is good to hear. Alright, let me go on the record there. Does he have nothing to say about anything I show him? Probably not. Alright, this is the last thing. I don't think he ever answered a question about whether or not he was there during the scene, during the murder, but whatever. Currently waiting for the LG V30 to come out to see if the V20S price drops down. Is that a phone or I have no idea what that is. Let's see. Let's move. Let's roll out. Let's talk to Emma about this. Oh, she's gone. Or I don't know. October 7th, Drew's studio. Well, how'd it go? Find anything out? Actually, there was one thing I wanted to check with you. You heard I'm becoming a professional voice actor? Who told you that? Did Hina tell you that? Let's see, and what's with the I know something but I'm not telling face you got going, Emma? Or you meant the V20s. Yeah, okay, it's a phone. Phew! I was right. Let's see. I guess we're gonna present this peach! Check out this peachy butt. This painting came from behind that dresser. Oh yeah, so it was some... I was hoping you wouldn't figure that out. Let's see. Oh, okay, I think this is different. It's what you think. Drew Misham was a forger. This amazing showcase of professional voice acting in this stream indicates a huge potential of massive explosion of talent which is resting within thy stream. Pray follow me to the waking sands to find the maximum potential of I do not miss teleporting to the waking sands every 10 quests. Drew Misham was a forger. A forger? Alright, well, can we talk to her now about this? A forger. Thanks for the compliment. I think I think that's a compliment, but thank you. So what exactly is a forger? Well, basically it's someone who makes forgeries. Fakes, in other words. Fakes? Copies of an original. Exact copies, so precise you can't tell them apart. Well, why not just photocopy them? The big problem with forgeries is that people try to sell them as the real article. It's a crime, of course. So Drew Misham was a criminal? I'm afraid so. He received money to create elaborate forgeries. To supplement his work in illustration, I guess. I see. Actually, that's why I brought this here in the first place. What do you mean? When you're trying to determine if a painting is a forgery, the rough sketch underneath can be a valuable clue. So the rough sketch is like practice for the real thing. Like doing a magic trick in front of a mirror before you go on stage. But not in the case of a forgery. Not necessarily anyway. You know what the finished product is going to look like after all. Oh, yeah, I guess you would. That's why I brought this. I'm going to use it to see what's under the paint of the finished pieces. I get it now. Not that I really need to go to such lengths, seeing as how one of the paintings was only half finished anyways. Still, it'd be neat to see Mr. Misham's rough sketches. Kind of like what he was drawing when he thought no one was looking. True. That would be interesting and maybe valuable for our case. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. Flattery will get you everywhere, they say. Maybe I should ask Emma to help us out. Alright, do I show the original paintings or just the one painting? Let's just start with this one, I guess. I kinda wanted to see the rough sketch under this painting. And I was wondering if your tool there might do the trick. Oh, fine, fine. Just this time, though. Let's check it out! Oh, I do get to pick. Alright. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Whoop. Blah, 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 blah. Sound like I'm in a submarine. What was that game that I played on the Amiga, the Silent Service or something? The Silent Service or Secret Service? I don't remember. Is this something on fire? Okay, let's print this one out. What the heck? Wow, he really blows. The finished painting isn't anything like the rough. Devices like mine didn't exist until recently. He probably thought he could draw any sort of thing he wanted to for the rough. What do you mean? Well, in the past you could only analyze the composition of a rough sketch. Composition? In other words, the traces of charcoal between paint and canvas. So you could tell if there had been a rough sketch, but not what it looked like. Ah, I think I follow you. So in essence, it wouldn't matter what was underneath the finished painting. Some pros would actually paint out a rough sketch entirely, then do a completely new painting on top of that. So Mr. Mission was drawing whatever he wanted before painting over them? Possibly. Is there a problem with that? Not particularly, but something about the sketch itself is kind of odd. You're awfully silent all of a sudden, Apollo. You think we could check out one of the other paintings? Well, sure, if you like this detection stuff. Or you like this detection stuff, don't you? I want to check out this ass. Check it out. I just realized that they have Phoenix Wright, what is it, 5 and 6, I think, on the iPad. I may get them and then I'd be able to stream those too, because there's not an emulator for the 3DS yet. Or at least not a good one. Not a good enough one. Okay, let's print this one out. It's a card game. This one too. What's wrong, Apollo? You look so serious all of a sudden. You think I could just look at the last one of these? Fine by me, knock yourself out. Alright, let's check out this puffer fish. What's going on? Okay, let's print this one out. What is it? Like, oh, it's the noodle stand. Whoa, what the heck is all this? I hesitate to ask why you're getting so excited. You sure your device isn't leaking some kind of strange radiation? Trucy, look at these 3 sketches. Do you notice anything? Eldune's noodles. What is this one? Oh, it's the guitar on fire, I think. Ah! There. Now you're both white as sheets. What's going on? These sketches are of the 3 cases I worked on. What? The murder in the poker room at the Borscht Bowl Club. The dead man pulling the noodle stand. And then the events that transpired during the Gaviners' concert. What could it mean? How could he have painted those things? And why? That's what I want to know. Wait, it's Drew Misham. Oh, is Drew Misham your father? Give me a break. Does it seem even remotely possible to you? I never even heard of any Drew Misham before. I hadn't even seen a picture of him, but there were my cases drawn on his canvas. Every single one of them. It couldn't have been a coincidence. Just who was this Drew Misham and what did he have to do with me? He's an admirer. Sure? Yeah, let's see. Now, looks like we'll have to stop in the middle of the court again. Well, maybe it'll go by quickly, I don't know. October 8th, 9:48 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 6. Good morning! So, you're Vera, right? I'm Trucy, Trucy Wright. That's right with a W. But not right, right? We're on your side. You can tell us anything. Please? Good morning. She speaks. Didn't she speak at the detention center too? But, like, one sentence? Not bad, not bad. But I think you'd do better with a little smile, you know? You're so pretty. You need to sell yourself, you know? Trucy, let's take it easy for starters. Aww. Thank you for taking my case. Oh, I like her overalls. Okay, well, that's a start, I guess. There she goes with the nail polish again. Is that a bottle of nail polish? I can't. It looks like a rubber glove to me. That's great, really. It's so cultured. Want to try? Ooh, really? Girls. The victim, Drew Misham, was a forger, and a stolen painting was found in his studio. A life of crime, really, and maybe one that led to his death. All because of that page. October 8th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 3. Well, we will now, begin the, trial of Vera Misham. Is the judge okay? His voice is all raspy and he's looking around all nervous-like. The repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time, and may indeed alter our legal system forever. Today is a test of the jurist system. and the first step toward a new order in our courts. Daddy's secret mission! The jurists will function like a jury. It is hoped their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will. The judge is having a stroke. He caught the incuritis! Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom? 3 closed-circuit cameras watch this courtroom at all times. The jurists have access to everything that transpires. Jurists! Judge well and judge cool! Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was going to say that. Ah, my apologies, Herr Judge. Ahem, jurists! Today, judge today's trial coolly, if you would be so kind. The jurists are unbound by the letter of the law. They don't affect the trial with evidence, but with their feelings. And we're about to find out just what effect they're going to have. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. The details of the case, if you would. The victim is the painter Drew Misham. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned. By whom, you ask? By none other than the defendant, Vera Misham. Oh my gosh, look at his hair.
Objection!
There wasn't any poison in the coffee. Achtung! Someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself. The mug? Ah, residue was found on the rim, I see. The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim's death. The court accepts this as evidence. Alright, we got the autopsy report. According to this report, the victim's death was caused by atroquinine poisoning, a chemical compound that does not occur naturally. The lethal dosage is a mere 0.002 milligrams. A touch of atroquinine in the body is the touch of the Reaper's scythe. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. You may present your witness. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. That journalist, no doubt. The witness will state his name and occupation. Ugh! Ah, right. Well, for starters, my name is Spark Brushel, and my job is a lone observer of the world. In other words, a freelance journalist, right? If you don't mind, I'd like to state something here for the record. Yes, Mr. Brushel? I dislike conclusions, specifically the jumping to aspect of conclusions. Preconceptions make park's sandbox of endless desert waste. End quote. But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday. Well, that's true, yes, but you must understand, I stand before you today a man with a dream. I'm offering you my testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Scoot turns Mr. Brushel into that Mr. Brushel. End quote. What? Let's hear your testimony then, shall we? A simple case, eh, Gavin? For me, the jury is still out. The journalist's story. I visited the studio around 9 that night to do the interview. Actually, I want to look at the autopsy first real quick. Death by atroquinine poisoning. Estimated time of death 9 to 9:30. Do I have anywhere that states that atroquinine is actually a slow-acting poison? He looks more like a clown? Yes, he does. He looks like one of my characters that I've drawn with the little rosy cheeks. I always put those cheeks on everything. So I visited the studio around 9 to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the atelier. Journalistic history made, end quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next? Oh, and you know what happened next? Star falls! In quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time. That does sound like a simple case. Unless... You were the one who poisoned him! Whoa, what are you saying, Judge? You know, remind you, the cameras are rolling today. I felt the need to be a bit dramatic. You didn't do it, did you? Me do a thing like that? Come on, that's like newsmaker making the news, end quote. Or even contemporary witch hunt, end quote. I know, wild accusations rock courtroom, end quote. Rock indeed. Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having fun. I am so happy for him. Looks like Dennis the Menace's father. You know, I don't really remember what the characters looked like in Dennis the Menace. I used to watch that black and white show when I was little. And I read the comics too. I guess he does kind of look like the dad in the comics. I remember what he looks like in the comic. Very well, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please. Alright. This is the studio around 9. 9 at night? Isn't that a little late for an interview? If the great painter Drew Misham says come at 9, believe you me, I go at 9. The first, and as it turned out, last interview with such a prolific painter. Right. Can you tell us what it was like when you arrived? Let's see, you were the first reporter ever in Drew's studio? Posterity will look back on that night as a turning point in journalistic history. A basically insignificant step for all mankind, but a giant step for that Brushel guy, end quote. Bushel. If no one on the outside ever had access to the studio, then it would serve to reason that the deed was done by an insider. By which he means Vera did it. So how did this epoch-making interview go? His daughter brought us coffee. Would you mind being a little more specific? Oh, let me tell you, I enjoy a cuppa. In fact, it all began when I was in 3rd grade. No, wait. That's not what I meant. I believe I know what Herr Forehead is driving at. This coffee the victim served. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it? Right, that. That's what I was going to say, really. Well now, if you've got a question to ask, you'd best straight up ask it. That's what I tell the new recruits. Several times if necessary. Right for a grade schooler. That's my motto. Which... Okay. Who touched the coffee? Dunno. I was in the back looking at the studio's equipment when she served it. And what happened next? What's this about a star falling? Star falls, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money over... Zowie! You don't know? That's like a journalism code word. An important personage passes away. A star falls. Get it? But there's no gravity in space, is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really. Does this matter? Hoo boy, this is good stuff. Good stuff. How about star breaks? Nah, lacks punch. I know. Star dies! Nah, lacks imagination. Of course you could go with Drew dies, straight to the point. I like it! I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. The moments of death, Brushel's coffee, the star's coffee. Let's talk about the moment of death. About when Mr. Misham passed away. Hoo boy, what a scene that was. He puts his coffee mug down with a crash, right? Yes, and then? Then the cold finger of death touches his spine. Life's flame sputters and fails. So cold was that touch he could do naught but tremble uncontrollably. Actually, life's flame is a little tired. Life's river froze over. Yes, that's a go. I think he's starting his article already. Could you describe that a little more simply? Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say. Artist's seizure is final performance in quote. Atroquinine paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a bow, and limbs tremble and... oh, okay. That's quite enough of that. Some of us want to be able to sleep tonight. Oh yeah? Well, I want details, lots of juicy details. For that, you can listen to our last year's hit single, Atroquinine, My Love, by the Gaviners, available at all major music outlets. The point here is that the victim died of atroquinine poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how did you find that testimony? I guess it was important. Well, as an account of the moment of the victim's death, I'd say it's very important. Please, add it to the testimony. Very well. The court requests the witness add this account to his testimony. Those spasms. That was definitely death by poison. You say it was definitely death by poison. How can you be so sure? Hey, look, I'm a journalist. I've seen a lot of things. And I've had more than my share of experiences with so-called poisonings. Man eats fishy fish, goes bye-bye, in quotes. Food poisoning doesn't count. Should I get him to talk about something else? Hold on. Let's go with what we have for now. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time. Can you say that for sure? For sure? Sure, I'm sure. Drew's studio isn't a big place, kiddo. I'd know it if someone else had come in. What if they had been hiding in there from before? Objection! Even if someone had been hiding in the studio, they hardly could have poisoned that mug without anyone noticing. You think I, Spark Brushel, would miss something as obvious as that? No way! He sure makes it sound exciting. I guess that's his job. There's only one moment we need to focus on, really. The moment when Drew Misham died? Exactly, there has to be something there. So does that mean I got the right? I don't have any information on atroquinine that states that it's a slow-acting poison. Whoops. I don't know what I could show him. There's only one thing I can think of to show, one or two. Nine to 9:30. Save it. Objection! Alright, well that wasn't it. Let's ask about something else then. Let's ask about his coffee, I guess. So you drank the coffee that Vera served you too? Of course. When someone serves you coffee, you drink it. That's what my old boss always used to say. Never did get what he meant by it though. But you're still alive, which is to say you didn't die. Of course not! No point falling before you're a star, in quotes. That's not exactly what I was getting at. What were you getting at then? You know the poison was on the rim, not in the coffee. Oh, yes! Yes! There were 2 cups on the tray she brought, and one of the cups had Drew's signature painted on the side. No chance the guest would take that one by mistake, I guess. Well, Mr. Justice? Was that important? I don't think it was important. So, Brushel drank the coffee too. Doesn't look like this is going to lead to much. Very well, please continue with the testimony. Let's hear about the last part. You see Mr. Misham had the coffee too. But did you actually see him drink the coffee? Of course! He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger! End quote. I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about it world. Yet... I guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really. He had one so-called sip, if that. Man puts lips to mug, drinks, end quote. That poison is quite virulent, I hear. My stomach did a so-called somersault, since I had gulped down that coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Wait, maybe something's there, some kind of so-called trick. Anyone want to venture a guess, for the record? Does this guy have a pause button? Well, Mr. Justice, did you find that testimony valuable? I think that one is probably it. The victim drank his coffee, then immediately fell over? Oh, yes, yes. You can go to the press with that one. Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Please add it to the testimony. Very well. The witness will add this to his testimony. Vital! Right. Maybe we press it and then it gives us the option to talk about atroquinine being a slow-acting poison. So he either took a sip or he didn't, and then fell over? Oh yes! Indubitably! Just like that! Wham bam! So Mr. Misham drank the coffee and fell over immediately. I think Brushel's telling the truth, too. Should I get him to talk about something else? Arg. The problem with the testimony is already pretty obvious. But how do I... Do I have something that talks about the atroquinine? Well, here it says slow-acting deadly poison. Maybe I present this. Huh? You did the laundry again? Okay. Do not put a blanket in there. Wait, could you turn my fan on? Thank you. Okay, I'll put him in the drawer. Huh. Oh, okay. I got a whole bunch of stuff I could take. Yeah, make sure to do this one. It's my Resident Evil shirt. Why don't you turn the light on? Okay. Watermelon! Hi, Watermelon! What are you doing? Hey, baby! Oh, you're so sweet! You're sweet. What's up with this old dude? Sorry guys, just 1 second. You're so pretty. You're so pretty girl. You're so pretty. I think he's gone. Oh! There you go. He can put blankets in the laundry, just not with the clothes. Because it makes the clothes take forever to dry. I have to dry it 2 or 3 times if there's blankets in the laundry. And when he does the laundry this late, I usually put them in the dryer when Ranpuma comes home, and it takes an hour for the dryer to go through, and I'm usually asleep before it's done, so as long as there's no blankets in there, it should be dry by the morning. Anyways, Yeah, let's present this.
Objection!
Yes! You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison used, atroquinine. Oh? Prosecutor Gavin was quite clear about the poison. A lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzes the central nervous system. If you drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, would be reduced to a quivering pile. Why are you using me as an example? Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. There was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information. An omission? Atroquinine is as virulent as he says, but death doesn't come upon ingestion. Not immediately. That's because atroquinine is slow-acting. Slow-acting? Whoa, 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 what? According to one forensic scientist, it's one of the most virulent poisons, but is absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for adverse effects to show. If we suppose that the moment Mr. Mishram sipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate, then he would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of joe. Ugh, his view from behind is even worse. Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? If what the defense says is correct, why, that contradicts the entire testimony we've just heard. Well, Mr. Brushel, anything to say on the record? Slow acting. Slow act. It was virulent, alright. Even then, it had already begun digging its claws into the journalist. He's working on his scoop.
Objection!
It's Brushel, yeah? Herr Brushel. Let's take a trip back down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? That's what he said. Think it over. This is vital. You know what I think? I think that was a not-so-subliminal suggestion, end quote. Well, who would take a sip of coffee and not take another sip for 15 minutes? I admit, it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. I would be forced to say Auf Wiedersehen to my simple case, and you would be forced to say farewell to your article. Auf Wiedersehen. Come again? You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? And as the case drags on, other reporters will pick up the scent. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye. So he's gonna lie? Scoop. Scoop. Ew! Ew! Ah! Look, wait, just wait a second. Just 1 second. We're waiting, out with it. I think I just recalled a so-called important detail. A revival of recollection, end quote. A story survival, end quote. Attorney utterly confused, end quote. Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I'd heard of poisons that takes its sweet time, see? But not what I've been saying for the last few minutes, apparently. Mr. Brushel, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened? You bet I am! The antidote for a poisonous contradiction, end quote, you might say. Or, I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say. I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. See, thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned that coffee. What? Order! 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 As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his testimony. The toothbrush is no longer just for your teeth. Ugh! Oh, that was gross. That Mr. Mishram died the instant after he drank. Of course I'm standing by my testimony. He's trying to get him to... He's like hinting heavily at him to change his testimony, but he's not. And my dream of exclusive rights to the story. Ah, I suppose it's too much to hope for. What was? Of Of course, he wouldn't choose a simple case. Not him. Him? Phoenix Wright. Who else? Achtung, Herr Bruschel. Report for us, if you would. What is it that you noticed? This court is a critical trial of the jurist system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. You will testify to the court about what you noticed. What Bruschel noticed. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note? A suicide note? Yes, he had this look on his face. Man's face inscrutable as a quadratic equation, end quote. Suicide? Poor Mr. Misham. But that means Vera's innocent. Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Oh. Very well, you may begin your cross-examination. What Bruschel noticed. Alright. Was there anyone at the studio other than Mr. Misham? Well, his daughter Vera, of course. Was anyone beside Mr. Misham and Vera present? Not a single one. Not a cat, not a rat, not even a mouse. The only person who didn't belong to that studio there was you, wasn't it, Mr. Bruschel? I know what you're doing. I know your game. Attorney uses classic Ramsden phenomenon ploy, end quote. If you intend to suggest that this reporter is a suspect, I'm sure you also intend to present evidence supporting that assertion, correct? In the meantime, let's move along, shall we? He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. So he put the letter away when he saw you? Early reporter gets worm, end quote. That's my secret. I'm not sure I follow. It's the night of the interview. I arrive 15 minutes ahead of schedule. The handle turns, the door opens, and I barge in. Are you sure it's okay to do? I mean, isn't that unlawful entry, really? Mr. Misham sure seemed to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter into the yellow envelope as fast as he could. Yellow? I know a secret when I spot one, and that was one. It does seem significant. Well, Mr. Justice? I wonder. It does have the ring of something important. The defense finds this testimony vital, Your Honor. Very well. Please add it to the testimony, then. Hey, why not? My account comes free of charge. It was a yellow envelope. I heard it was left at the crime scene. Is he colorblind? Or just... And you saw him seal this yellow envelope with the letter? Hey, don't look at me like that. I saw what I saw. Apollo, you think this might be a big break? Yeah. What I need is to show some decisive evidence now. Thought nothing of it at the time, of course. You didn't think anything might be wrong at the time? Hey, when I go in for an interview, that's what I'm there to do. Interviewer finds looking more effective than caring, end quote. So what about now? Thinking back on it, did you sense anything strange in Mr. Misham's behavior? Well, yeah, that's why I'm telling you all this to begin with. Very well, continue with your testimony. What if he was writing a suicide note? A suicide note? Well, yeah. Don't quote me or anything. I'm just saying it's a possibility, you know? So you didn't actually check the letter? Of course not. It was sealed. Contents of can unknown until can is opened, end quote. You can always check the label. Do you think Mr. Misham was writing a suicide note? If he was, that would solve the case in a jiffy. Kinda makes me wonder about that letter. I wonder if he means the red envelope.
Objection!
As it just so happens, there was a single letter in a desk drawer at the scene. In a red envelope. What? Ugh. Prosecutor Gavin. Yes? Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, no. But hair forehead. It's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. I guess, but not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already, 7 years ago. Well, Mr. Brushel, I can explain that. Drew, right? He wanted to get that letter in an envelope pronto. Get it out of my sight, of my beady eyes, right? So he grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed away. And what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump? Well, Mr. Justice, have you anything to say to the witness's claim? That night, the victim put a letter he had been writing in a red envelope. What am I saying is possible or impossible? I'm not sure. Let's just say it's impossible. That's impossible! Ah, I like your expression, so full of confidence. It's simple, really. As it just so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope with the assistance of a forensic scientist. What? Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Misham. Oh? Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself. I've been scooped! Order! 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 Mr. Brushel, can you explain this to the court? Oh my. How could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets old, forgets lots. End quote. I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Brushel. Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in the envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. His desk drawer? Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp, end quote. A stamp? Whatever for? Well, to mail his letter, what else? And then, why yes, I think I saw him put his letter in the box. Put it in his letterbox. Yes, it was a yellow envelope, and he put it in that box. Well, apparently... Oh, how I wish it did. Just think if that were a suicide note. What a story! Star writes suicide note in front of reporter. Falls, end quote. Ahem. As I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case. That said... Yes, Your Honor? It makes me wonder about the contents of that red envelope. $100,000 is quite a good deal of money. So this was from 7 years ago, yeah? So, am I finished? Here. I mean... Am I finished here? I was thinking of, you know, going home to start writing. I hate to state what should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the scent of a story, you make that, rather unique face. Ack! Come on! Attorney has active imagination. Little else, end quote. Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. You know, I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about. Judge has active imagination, end quote. Please continue with your testimony. Tell us about the scent of a story. Hey, I'm the one asking the questions here. Usually. Ugh. The scent of a story. Actually, it took a bit of work to get a thumbs up on the interview. Reporter leverages story, gets his interview, end quote. The story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago. That red envelope probably had something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare. So, you threatened to go to the press with this story. That's how you got your interview? Blackmail? Well, yes. I mean, no! No. I wasn't exactly black. I mean, I'm not... Something wrong, Mr. Brushel? Look. This is my story, my tidbit. Journalist's info is livelihood, end quote. I see. Well, you have me chatting away in here. What's going on out there? What if some Wally Wordsworth or Sally Scooper gets wind of my story? They could be going to the press while I'm going to waste. The court feels your pain, Mr. Brushel. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace. A certain case 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago? Scent of a story. Oh, I've got my bracelet this time. Took a bit of work, thumbs up to get an interview. Let's press everything first. The victim, Drew Mitchum, had an aversion to reporters? Boy, I guess. Not even my considerable charms did much for him. Until I finally got my thumbs up, that is. Maybe you can elaborate on that a bit for us. Reporter leverages story, gets his interview. Exactly what sort of story was this? Oh, a little one, like I said. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing in between. End quote. I might have suggested I had a lead on this particular story, but I didn't threaten or cajole or nothing. Cajole? Is that how you say that? Honest. So a suggestion was enough to get an interview. Mr. Mitchum must have really wanted to keep it under wraps. The story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago. A certain case 7 years ago? Tell us, what case? Ugh. Let me state one thing, Mr. Attorney, and you can quote me on this. Ugh. I can't talk about that case. Why not? It's about journalistic pride and staunchness and credibility and connections. Journalist reveals sources only over his dead body, end quote. So what'll it be? Gonna strangle me? Dead men don't tell tales. He sounds pretty determined not to talk. Our chances of breaking his will aren't looking good. Red envelope probably had something to do with it. On the one hand, we have your story, and on the other, this letter. What makes you think the two are related? Oh! I was just saying it's possible! Call it reporter's intuition, end quote. Hey, I say a lot of things. You're going to pick all of them apart? Be my guest. All of them? No, just the incredibly suspicious ones. I see. Anything else to add about Mr. Mitchum? Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare. Just how amazing was Mr. Mitchum's talent? Huh? Ooh-wee boy, I mean, hey, he's a star, man, a star! The flow of his brush is like a great undulating river across the canvas. Artists' paints light up studio like sun, end quote. This guy is full of wacky gestures, but that one just now was wackier than usual. He looks kind of nervous to me, Apollo. Definitely. I'm sensing something different than before here. Maybe it's time to bring out you-know-what! Your penis? That testimony left a bad taste in my mouth. It all makes sense. Nothing jumps out as ridiculous. I wonder what this story is he's talking about is. It must have been good to get an interview with a famous recluse like that. Something powerful enough to drag Drew Misham out of hiding. I wonder. Maybe it has something to do with Mr. Misham's art. I think that last one is where we need to look. Where's my controller? Where's my controller? I can't do it without my controller. Is this it? Oh, it's not even on. Maybe I can use the Kurjigger, my keyboard. Stop brandishing it. What do you mean Phoenix? It's Apollo. It's not gonna work. Hold on. How did this get unplugged? Maybe Charles unplugged it while he was doing Well, could you... Let me just go ahead and see if I could see anything just from here. Oh, those teeth! Oh, I can use the... Oh, okay. Ugh, he's so ugly. Why do I have to get it close with this guy? Hold on, let me see if this will work. No, I'd have to turn the emulator off to get the controller to work. I'm trying to look at the brush and the pen at the same time. Let's look at something else. Ugh, I really don't want to look at that one. Why do I have to look at this person? Ugh, I am not zooming in on those teeth. Ugh. Like, I can only think of his face, like, being the only place to look because you can't see his hands. Ugh, I really don't want to look at this one. Ugh. Ugh. This guy's crazy. I'm not doing that again. No, I'm not okay. This guy is making me uncomfortable. I don't like having to examine this person's body. I think he may be turning you a tiny bit crazy. Maybe. Oh my gosh, where am I supposed to look? Maybe it's his nose. Oh, look, watch one more time. Ugh. Ugh, I really don't want to look at this one again, but I gotta make sure, I guess. He's so ugly. Alright, let's get out of this one. Ugh. I have no idea. It's probably some really teeny tiny twitch that, like, is super hard to notice. I mean, I can only imagine it being in or around his face, because you can't see where his hands are. And I think it's this one here. I guess it's not his nose, his schnoz. It's gotta be here somewhere. Is it his eyebrows? This is just making me sick. I've looked everywhere. I have no idea. I would think it's either that one or this one. I really don't want to look at this other one again. Ugh. I don't want to do this. Ugh. I'm really going to be sick. I don't know why end quote would be the thing. I have no idea what it is. So gross. Gosh, I can't see it anywhere. Alright, well, it's not his mouth, at least not here. I have no idea. Like, he doesn't even blink. That's probably the creepiest part. Wait. Oh, okay. It must have just been the weird lens effect, but it looked like his eyes were moving. I don't know if I really looked at this one much. I may just look this up because I just have no idea. I have not seen a single thing. And I really don't want to look at this guy any longer than I have to. Let me look it up real quick. Alright, I got what it is. Look it up, otherwise I might throw up. Ugh, me too, but... Alright, I've got what the Twitch is, but it doesn't tell me where, so... We gotta figure that out. Oh, it's right there. His armpits seem to sweat, I guess. His pitties start to cry.
Gotcha!
And it was during a really short phrase, too. Sweat much, Mr. Brushel? Yeah, well, a man can't help his glands, you know? It's more than that. When Mr. Misham's talent was mentioned, he suddenly began to sweat buckets. Ah! He looks like he's grabbing his invisible boobies right there. It's Brian. You're hiding something about his talent. What? That's ridiculosity. Evidence time. Let's show where Mr. Misham's true talent lay. It just so happens I have evidence showing the talent mentioned in that letter. Let's see. Whoops, not this. You're always grabbing your invisible boobies. I'm always grabbing my real ones. And the invisible ones. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know which one to show. Let me save it. Can't help but wonder what the court is supposed to conclude from this evidence. Oh, other than you've made a horrible mistake? I guess we need the real one then. This painting was found in Mr. Misham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first is it wasn't painted by Mr. Misham. The second is that there was another painting in the studio which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. When we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000, which suggests a certain business operation, the business of making forgeries. Ugh! This guy's just horrific. That is all, Your Honor. Everyone, please, everyone! Can we keep this private? Please? This is my story, my scoop! Forgery. That's a serious crime. Drew Misham is known as an artist these days, but there were rumors he dabbled in other kinds of art until a few years back. Another art? Meaning forgery? Drew Misham was talented, alright. Talented at making precise, detailed fakes. A fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover. Criminal elements? What? You can't seriously be talking about... Exactly. I'm talking about forging evidence. The rumors started circulating 7 years ago. This is 7 years ago? So are we to understand that this letter, this payment of $100,000 was for... Exactly. Forged evidence nets tidy profit. In quote. Order! 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 Why, it's like our victim was living a double life. Aha! This is my chance. So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? He could have had plenty of enemies we know nothing about. This is my first time hearing of this criminal world. We certainly found no criminal connections when we conducted our investigation. But how do you explain all this money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity. But there's no proof tying this letter to our case. Our case was, and remains, simple from the beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned that mug that night. And you, of course. Hey! The only thing I poison is my pen when I'm writing interviews. Mr. Brushel, your testimony to this point has been quite unreliable. It doesn't speak well of your reporting acumen. What are you talking about? My journalism is rock solid. Journalism so solid you could stand an elephant on it, end quote. In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. If we can ascertain the situation in that studio from the recap, the trial is over. Apollo, what's he talking about? The cross-examination showed Mr. Brushel didn't have reason or means to poison him. As long as there are no other suspects, then the killer had to be Vera. That's what. This next testimony is our last chance. Mr. Brushel, your testimony, please. The interview, a recap. The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. It was Vera who poured the coffee. She admitted as much herself. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug, and nothing left that studio after he died. Nothing. Clearly, the only one who could have poisoned him was his daughter. Well, one thing did leave, and it was the yellow envelope that he put in the mail slot, I guess. A nice testimony. Clear, succinct. Is that how you say that? And without room for doubt. Aw, shucks. You really think so? I believe this clarifies the situation that night. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your final cross-examination. Right. I still have one trump card left to play, and I won't let this trial end until I use it. Maybe it was the fact that the envelope is gone. The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. Since we don't really have that much time, I'm gonna go ahead and present it just to see if that's it. And if it's not, we'll go ahead and take the penalty, so no big deal.
Objection!
Yeah! This is the only link between that studio and the outside world. A letterbox? What did Mr. Brushel just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter. Yeah, I said that, and yeah, it was true. Furthermore, you went on to tell us that he put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox. Ah, that very same letterbox was empty! In other words, that night, the yellow envelope disappeared!
Objection!
Ah, yes. Intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course, this changes nothing. Huh? He has a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Misham. Is it really important that this envelope the witness says he saw disappeared? Well, if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio that night. That seems very important to me. Very well then, the witness will add this to the testimony. You got it! I still think this fails to change anything, Hair Forehead. I wouldn't be so sure. A letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. This is exactly the opening I've been looking for. A letter was put in the post from the studio, but I hardly think that matters. Let's go ahead and press, and I think I know what to show. Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio. And you are hiding that fact from us! Yes, well, actually, I don't argue the possibility that a letter disappeared from that studio, but Hair Forehead, isn't there a much serious question before us? Right, how Mr. Misham was poisoned, I know. But Mr. Brushel's testimony has changed, which means the facts of the case have too. And what he's told us means something entirely different now. I'm starting to think. Let's keep thinking, Apollo. Now, I'm not sure this'll work, but...
Objection!
I guess not. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement? I'm not sure I follow you. It clearly, contradicts the, I mean... You don't sound very sure, Mr. Justice. Objection overruled. Okay, so that wasn't it. So there's gotta be something here. Since he added it. Oh, no, I wanted to look at the envelope, but okay. I have no idea. I guess let's go ahead and press everything else. Maybe something will be revealed. But that doesn't prove Vera poisoned it.
Objection!
How many times have we heard that one here, Forehead? The poison reached its victim via that coffee mug. And from where did that coffee come from? Not to beat a dead horse again and again, but perhaps you could fill us in. I'm on it. You need a horse beat? I'm your man.
Hold it!
And you witnessed her pouring the coffee? Of course I didn't witness it when she came in with that tray. The coffee was already poured and a-steamin'. Let's not forget the defendant has admitted to pouring the coffee herself. I heard her statement. I poured, I served, and I killed. What? The last part was just a little joke. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere with this coffee mug. I need to find another weak spot in this case.
Hold it!
You're sure about that? Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies the whole time. One of those candies might have been poisoned.
Objection!
Yet, at the time of the autopsy, no fresh fragrance of mint filled the room, and no mint residue was found. It was a long shot anyway. Don't tell me you're still trying to prove this. You think the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than coffee? Well, Mr. Justice, if you have some proof, the possibility's there, I can feel it. Just maybe not prove, not yet. And possibility isn't going to cut it, not now. Mr. Misham ingested that poison via a route other than coffee. Alright, let's try this again. Proof is possible. Here goes nothing. You do understand that we need what we need, yeah? Proof, Hair Forehead, not possibilities. Of course. And Prosecutor Gavin, I hope you understand. I'm ready to give you that proof. What did you say? I have proof of the disappearing envelope. Wait, what? I saw him writing a letter, I did. Which was picked up by the mailman, I assume? Of course, which means that envelope had a stamp on it. A stamp? Ah. As we all know, stamps come with dried glue on the back. In order to use the glue, you have to wet it by licking the stamp.
Objection!
No one worth talking to actually licks stamps in this day and age.
Objection!
Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead, after all.
Objection!
Okay, so he licked the stamp. But wait, how does it explain the atroquinine on the rim of the coffee mug?
Objection!
If he licked the back of a poisoned stamp, the poison would get on his tongue, yes? What would then happen if you put the coffee mug to his mouth, Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing, it was the other way around. What? The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Misham. Mr. Misham poisoned the coffee mug himself. Order! 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 But that doesn't... Does it? Recall, if you would. Atroquinine is a slow-acting poison, yes? The poison entered his body when he put the stamp on that envelope, but his time wasn't up until the very moment he touched his lips to that cup of joe. You have something to add, Mr. Brushel? Uh-oh, his nose is picking up another scent. As I believe I mentioned earlier... Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk for something. The drawer. Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp, end quote. But you know, I don't seem to remember him ever finding one. Maybe he'd just run out. Incidentally, we searched the desk drawer at the scene of the crime. There were no stamps. Not a single one. That does pose a problem. How will you prove that the stamp was coated with poison? Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. It makes proving the stamp he used was poisoned possible. Good show, good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene in the first place. Well, let's hear what the defense has to say anyway. Where's your evidence that proves the existence of this poisoned stamp? And it looks like my husband is coming home, so... I think you guys know I was gonna use this. We're gonna have to save this for another time, because I don't want to keep reading while he's on his way home. Because I'm sure it's gonna go on a whole tirade of crap. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching me play Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. And I should be back tomorrow with more Apollo Justice. But yeah, thank you guys for coming and watching me play. I really appreciate it. And I will see you next time. So take care and have a good night. Bye bye.